Graphical representation. What is a graph? A graph is used to display the relationship between two variables. Whenever we are interested in the functional relationship, we classify the variable as dependent variable and as independent variable. So what are these dependent and independent variables? In maths, we know that the equation of straight line is given by y equal to ax plus b, where x is independent variable and y is dependent variable. Why so? Because value of y is dependent upon the value of x. We can give any random value to x to get the value of y. So y is dependent variable. Now independent variable is plotted along x-axis and dependent variable is plotted along y-axis. Now there are different types of graphs. I will try to explain all these graphs when and why a particular graph is used. So a graphical representation can be divided into two types. The first is called time series graph. The second type is frequency distribution graph. Now what are time series graph? In time series graph, time is a common variable, and as an independent variable it is always represented on x-axis, and dependent variable or variables are represented on the y-axis. In time series graph, they are also referred to as histograms, not histograms but histograms. Why so? Because they represent the history of a variable or variables graphically. Now histograms are further divided into 5 types. One dependent variable type histogram, more than one dependent variable type histogram, mixed graph, range graph and band graph. Out of these 5, mixed graph and band graph are very important graphs. Now coming to the second type, frequency distribution graph, they are divided into 2 types: the graphs that uses simple frequency and those graphs that uses cumulative frequency. Now ogives comes under cumulative frequency, and ogive itself can be plotted two ways. One is called less than ogive, other is called more than ogive. And under simple frequency we have 3 types of graphs. First is histogram. Over here it is histogram, not histogram. Histogram, frequency polygon, and third one is smooth frequency polygon. Now smooth frequency polygon is also known as frequency curve. Let's start with first example, one dependent variable type histogram. Draw the graph for the following table. We have 2 columns, first representing the year and second column representing the number of disputes. In 1980 there were 2856 disputes, 1981 3489, 1982 2483, 1983 2500, 1984 2061 and 1985 1522. Now we will represent this table in graph. Now we will represent this table graphically. We will have y-axis and x-axis. In the case of histogram, we can break the y-axis if required, but as a convention we will never break the x-axis. Over here we will break the y-axis and choose a fall space, that is 1500, and use a kink like this to represent the breaking of the axis. Now this fall space is given either the lowest value of the data, which is 1522, or we can have the value little lower than that, like 1500 over here. Now representing year on x-axis. On y-axis we will mark 1500, 1750, 2000, 2250, 2500, 2750, 3000, 3250 and 3500. So I'm again explaining when will there be need to draw this kink. As we can see, the difference between any two values on y-axis is equal to 250. That is, difference between 1500 and 1750 is 250. The difference between 1700 and 2000 is 250. This gap between any two values on y-axis is much smaller than the gap between 1500 and origin. So to represent this properly, we use kink like this, as I mentioned before. Now plotting the points. For 1980, this is the first point, this is the second, then third, fourth, 5th, 6th. Join the points and finally get your graph. To complete this presentation, write scale also. So over here, scale that is equal to y-axis, 1 unit is equal to 250 disputes, and give a title to the graph. Over here, we will give appropriate title, histogram representing year-wise number of disputes. Going to a second example, more than one dependent type histogram. Draw the graph of the following table. Over here we have more than one dependent variables. That is, we have 3 dependent variables: birth rate, death rate, and growth rate. Now, as by convention, again the period will be represented on x-axis. If we just have a look at the values of the table, we see that the lowest value is 12.5. Right, the lowest value is 12.5. So on y-axis we'll start a little lower than that. We'll start with value 10 and we'll go up to till 50. Now again I say the y-axis represent growth rate, death rate, and birth rate per 1,000 population per year. Now we'll start plotting the points. First point is 45.2, second is 39.9, third is 40.9, fourth is 40.0, and fifth is 37.9. Now we will join these points using a line. Coming to a second dependent variable, that is death rate, we will have first point 31.2, then 27.4, third point 22.8, fourth 17.8, and fifth 15.4. Coming to a third dependent variable, growth rate, we will have first point 14.0 over here, then 12.5, 18.1, 22.8, and 22.5. Joining this also using a different type of line, we'll use a dashed line here. Now either we will write birth rate, death rate, and growth rate directly above these lines, or we can explain these lines in the form of a legend. For example, straight line represents birth rate, this crossed line represents death rate, and dashed line represents growth rate. So you can explain these lines either in this way, or you can directly write birth rate or death rate on directly above these lines, whatever that suits you. Giving an appropriate title to this graph, histogram representing decade-wise birth rate, death rate, growth rate of the population. Again, completing this graph by giving a proper scale. Over here, y-axis 1 unit is equal to 5 per 1,000 per population, per 1,000 population per year. Next type is mixed graph. Draw the graph of the following table. Mixed graph is a histogram prepared for 2 dependent variables where the units of measurement are not same. As in this question, we have one dependent variable as sales in quantity in tons and other dependent variable sales in value in lakhs. Now drawing the graph representing time in years on x-axis. In this graph also, if need be, we can break the y-axis. On y-axis, we take sales in quantity, plotting the points and joining it with a line. We will take another axis y dash parallel to y-axis that will represent sales in value. Plot the points according to it and join it with a dashed line like this. Please note here that in mixed graph, as a convention, the midpoints of the 2 scales taken should lie on the same horizontal line. Now this is a final mixed graph. Writing the scale and giving the graph a title. Next is range graph. Draw the graph of the following table. In this table, prices of a share in the first week of July is given. First row of the table gives maximum value, second row of the table gives minimum value. To represent this table, range graph is used. Why so? Because range graph shows two curves, one curve for maximum value and other for minimum value for different time period. Again, taking the time on y-axis, plotting maximum price value for different days of a week, joining it with a line. Now plotting minimum price value for different days of a week, joining it with a line. Shading the portion and getting our range graph. Writing the scale and giving the appropriate title to the graph. Coming to band graph. Represent the information through a band graph. Table shows production of wheat rice pulses in tons for different year. Please keep note that in this histogram we should not break the y-axis. Secondly, while choosing the scale, we should also keep the total values in mind. Representing time on x-axis and production of y-axis. Plotting the points first for wheat production. Joining the points with line. In band graph components, here wheat, rice and pulses are plotted one over the other and the graph gets an appearance like that of series of band. Therefore, to draw for rice production over wheat production, we will need to do following additions. Now plotting for rice production and joining the points with line. Similarly for pulses production. Shading the different components for better representation. Finally, writing the scale and giving the appropriate title to the graph. Coming to frequency distribution graph, using simple frequencies, we will now draw a histogram. Histogram is a series of adjacent rectangles consisting of width and a height. In this table, marks of students are specified. Example, marks of 10 students are between 0 to 5, marks of 20 students are between 5 and 12, so on and so forth. To understand how to draw a rectangle to represent this, consider marks as width of the rectangle. Consider frequency, that is number of students here, as area of rectangle. Now to calculate height of the rectangle, we will divide area by the width. That is, area is represented by frequency and width is represented by marks. After division, we will get height. Therefore, height is also called as frequency density. That is, frequency per unit width of the class. To make things simpler, we use formula given here to calculate height, or we can say frequency density, like basic class size over size of the given class into frequency of the given class. Basic class size is equal to 5 because smallest class interval of the whole distribution is taken as the basic class size. 0 to 5 is the smallest class interval, therefore 5. Calculating first height of the rectangle for the class width 0 to 5 as per this formula. That is 5 is the basic class size divided by 5 again, because this is also the size of the given class, into 10, which is the frequency of the given class. If we do this calculation, we get the height of the first rectangle, which is equal to 10. Similarly, for second rectangle, height is equal to 5, that is basic class, divided by size of the given class, which is 10, that is 15 minus 5, into 20, which is the frequency. Again, we will get 10. Like this, we will calculate the heights of different rectangles. Please make note of 3 things here. Smallest class interval of the distribution is taken as the basic class size. Frequency density refers to the frequency per unit width of the class, and height of a rectangle represents the frequency density. Now let's start drawing the graph. Values of the variable would be shown on the x-axis. On the y-axis, values derived from the frequency. If need be, we can break the x-axis, but as a convention, we will never break the y-axis. Now drawing the histogram, that is different rectangles, giving it a scale and the right title. There are two ways to make frequency polygon. First is with the help of histogram and second without histogram. Now we will make frequency polygon first with the help of histogram. Below table shows frequency of marks for different students. That is 30 students scored between 0 to 10, 40 students scored between 10 to 20, so on and so forth. Here please keep in mind that there is no need to separately calculate frequency distribution like we did in the previous example, because here width of each class interval is same. So even if we use the previous formula, that is basic size class divided by class interval into frequency, we know that basic class size and class interval for each rectangle is same, so they will cancel out. So value of frequency here will be equal to value of frequency density. Now start making our frequency polygon. Marks on x-axis, number of students on y-axis. Step 1, draw rectangles. Step 2, mark the midpoints of the classes on the top of the rectangle. Step 3, join these midpoints by straight lines. Step 4, take a fictitious class on the left hand side of the histogram equal to the size of that of the first class. Mark its midpoint on the x-axis and join it to the midpoint of the first rectangle. Repeat the same process. Take a fictitious class on the right hand side of the histogram now, equal in size to that of the last class, and mark its midpoint on the x-axis and join it to the midpoint of the last rectangle. Now this is our frequency polygon. Conceptually speaking, for a given distribution, area under histogram is equal to the area under this frequency polygon, and this area represents the total frequency of the distribution. Now giving it a scale and the title. We have one more example here for frequency polygon with the help of histogram. In this example, the class interval is not same as well as it is not continuous. Following table shows frequency of ages for different members. As I said, class interval representing age is not continuous. So first we will make it continuous, and then we will calculate adjusted frequencies, that is frequency density. Now we will start drawing the graph. Age on the x-axis and number of members on the y-axis. Using steps in the previous example of histogram, we will draw frequency polygon. Writing down the scale and the title to the graph. Let's draw frequency polygon without histogram. Draw this with the help of given table. Please note, class interval here is continuous and same, so there is no need to calculate adjusted frequencies like before, as the value of frequency here will be same as that of adjusted frequency. Since we won't be drawing histograms, straight away calculate midpoints of the class interval using the formula below, lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. This is the midpoint of the class interval, which is also called class mark. Drawing the graph using midpoints and frequencies. Here also we will consider midpoints of fictitious classes, one on the left hand side and one on the right hand side. Finally, this is our frequency polygon. Write down the scale and give the title to the graph. Under frequency distribution, there is one more graph called ogives. Ogives itself are of two types, less than ogive and more than ogive. Below table shows frequency of marks. First, we will calculate values for less than ogive. Number of students who got less than 10 marks, cumulative frequency is 30. Number of students who got marks less than 20, cumulative frequency is 80, that is 30 plus 50. Number of students who get marks less than 30, cumulative frequency is 145, 80 plus 65, so on and so forth. Ultimately, we will get the points 10, 30, 20, 80, 30, 145, 40, 225, 50, 345, 60, 365 and 70, 375. To draw the ogive, we will consider these points. Please remember, x here in these coordinates will represent the higher limit of the class interval and y represents the cumulative frequency. Similarly, we'll make a similar table for more than ogive. Number of students who got more than 0, cumulative frequency is equal to 375. Now 375 is equal to total number of students. Number of students getting more than 10, cumulative frequency is 345. 345, how did we calculate this? 375 minus 30 gives 345. More than 20, cumulative frequency is 295. 345 minus 50. More than 30, cumulative frequency is 230. 295 minus 65, so on and so forth. So for this more than ogive, the coordinates that we will consider are 0, 375, 10, 345, 20, 295, 30, 230, 40, 150, 50, 30, 60, 10. Please remember again that 0 is a lowermost value of the class interval and y-axis is the cumulative frequency. Let's make our graph. Draw points representing less than ogive. Join these points with a line. Plot points representing more than ogive and join those points with a line. From the point of intersection of the two ogives, we will draw a perpendicular on x-axis. This value on x-axis will give us median value. This value here is 35.3. 50% of the frequencies are on the lower side of 35.3 and 50% of the frequencies are on the higher side of 35.3, giving the graph a scale.